All right. So this is what I want to talk about today. Is the churches? They had this big meeting and they were saying like how inhumane it was during the Donald Trump era to enforce the law. So it wasn't inhumane during Obama, 8 years. It wasn't inhumane because before. All right. Now, and so I'm kind of thinking like we're just enforcing the law, the laws that Congress, both sides of Congress put down, and now it's a problem. It's almost like the church, they said it's a problem of abortions, but what, 4 million abortions later, they're just all talk and no action. For genocidal, like, okay, abortion in the black community is like genocide, right? And the churches say, oh, we should, help these women make another decision. But I don't see these churches stepping up. Now, if this is so important to the churches to not see these families who are doing something illegal, and it's all a part of the corporate game. The corporate, they need cheap workers, and they know if you're illegal, you can't say that, hey, wait a minute, you should pay me higher, you should pay me more. The corporations, the Republicans and the Democrats, they're both in bed with this scheme. They know that they want cheap labor. They'll advertise in their country. These people will pay this crazy amount of money to get into the country, and then to try to cross the border. And then these guys figure like, well, so many will come in, and yeah, a lot of them will get caught, but a lot of them will get in, and they'll know how desperate it is. Then you got the MS-13 banditos out there raping, what they say, like 90% of the girls that come through. So the mothers are loading their daughters up with birth control because they know that their daughters are most likely is going to get raped along the way. But yet, and what kind of mother would do that? I think I knew. I just found out that it was a lady. I was helping her and her family back in the 80s, and I heard that she was so much doped out on the dope that she even tried to turn her daughter out. And I'm kind of saying, like, what kind of low life would do that? Well, the kind of low life would do that is somebody fully doped up, heroin up, cocaine up, maybe even marijuana up, and so they're willing to sell their own daughters, to get their drug on or get their dope on. And I know, like, there's some women that they hate their daughters, whatever, and they say, well, my daughter gets raped, whatever, it's no big deal to me, just as long as she gets a job out there and she sends money back to me, I'll sacrifice my daughter to the MS-13 gang to have her raped or whatever. What kind of? I mean, I know we got some freaks in this country. I know we got some freaks in the country. Just look at just going back to the Civil War. That Civil War wasn't about. It was about free labor, but it was also about these rednecks and these kinky white boys wanted to continue their kinky ways and having illicit sex with these black slaves, and the wife wouldn't give up to them. They could just go out to the field house and get their freak on, either homosexually or get their freak on with the slave girls, and they could say nothing about it. And if the man did say something about it, he could just sell him and continue to have his freaky sex with the slave woman in those days. So that Civil War, in my opinion, was about the Northerners coming down and saying, hey, you guys, you got to stop treating human beings like this, and this kinky sex that you're having, well, we're going to come against that because supposedly the Republicans were more of a Christian than the Democrats. The Democrats said, well, praise the Lord, now I'm going to screw this girl, was more of a sexual predator than the other group, in my opinion. Okay, so now spin it back to today. So now you got these illegal, and I know the Democrat doesn't say it, Hickenlooper, he leaves out the word illegal. Yes, we're all made of immigrants. The only natural Americans here are the Native Americans. Yes, the red man, and the government pretty much got them like secluded on a reservation, using, earning money through casinos. But the red man knows what's going down and what went down, and you see more destruction on the reservation, but they keep it contained. They keep them like in a little ghetto, not to be around the regular around the other population, because the man knows what he did in the past, but that's either here or there, and it's still being done to them today on these reservations, as alcoholism is quite rampant. But getting back to these illegal, not legal, illegal immigrants that refuse to go to the consulate. There's 9 consulates. If they are seeking asylum, they can go to these consulates and do it the right way. Come through the front door. But no, instead, these employers say, hey, I don't care how you get here. The treasurer, these politicians say, I don't care how you get here. What happens during your trip here, you're going to get this great money, which is like if you hire one of them, they're probably paying them like $6 to the $9, maybe even not even that much, maybe $3 to the $10. Well, maybe it's $4 now to the $10.20 now. That's minimum wage, and of course they're happy to get it because they come out of a hellhole anyway, and their economy is not flourishing in some of the countries that they're coming from. So of course they come over here and to seek a better life. But instead of coming through the front door, and it doesn't cost in Denver, Colorado, in order to apply for your citizenship, $725. Why do I know this? Because my wife just did it. And all you have to do is learn English well enough where you can answer questions. And she learned English well enough where she can answer questions. Then you have to learn about the politics of the United States of America, because you're no longer in whatever third world country you came from. You're now in the United States of America. And you go down and take the test. And then if you don't pass it the first time, well, they ask you to come back again. Then you just hit those books and study again until you get it. And if you have to pay another $725, that's what you do. Now, would you rather do it that way or risk yourself being raped and molested by the MS-13 gang out there, right? Or like this knucklehead that was speeding away, and he had about 12 people in his SUV, and it ended up flipping over, and everybody who didn't have a seatbelt on flew out. The 5 flew out the window, and then ended up dying because the guy was so greedy. I mean, how much money per person was he getting off of those people? How much did they pay this idiot who decided to run away from the Asians, the border agents? How much money did he get? They're not talking about that, right? And I wish they would. I wish they would tell us how much money did he get for each illegal immigrant he had in that car, right? And I know it was some serious money, because for somebody to act that stupid and run away from the border patrol at that high of a speed, thinking that he could get away with it, had to be some money that you would act stupid over, or at least some people would act stupid over it. So I'm saying, churches, you love these illegals so much, step up. Get your church members and say, hey, our mission is to go out there and provide shelters for these illegal families. Tell the government that you want to open up your church, that you want to help construct places for them. I know that right now they got Walmarts, and they changed the cafeteria. There's one Walmart in Texas. They changed the McDonald's into a cafeteria. They're out there watching like little movies. They got bunk beds. They got this all set up, but that's not good enough. That's not good enough. And most of these kids, they're like 17, and they're some of them are part of the MS-13 gang, just acting like they're these young innocent kids. But once they get in here, then the